Djokovic, the sports press is saying that you got the perfect draw in the U.S. Open, that you don't have to face potentially Roger Federer or Andy Murray until the final. Do you think you got the perfect draw?
Well, I don't think there is a perfect draw, to be honest with you. Draw is something that you cannot affect. It's a question of luck, obviously, and you know, there's 128 players here who have plenty of motivation to perform their best in the Grand Slam, so the last major of the year, and I'm sure that they want to cause some upsets in the opening round. So I'm truly taking one step at a time, and you know, I had good and bad draws in the past, but as I said, it's something I cannot affect, so I'm not calculating or predicting anything. I'm just trying to focus on my game, which is the most important thing.
Novak, you mentioned early round upsets, which hadn't happened today, Big Four, for a long time until this last Wimbledon when Lucas Russell beat Nadal in the second round.
Yeah.
Do you think that sort of gave the guys outside the top, let's say 20 or so, a lot more belief that they actually can get one of you four guys in the early rounds? Do you think it'll change things at all in this tournament?
For sure. I mean, that upset from Lucas Russell on Wimbledon against Nadal, and plenty of more examples from you know, a bit lower ranked players winning against you know, top players of the world, proves that tennis has improved. Tennis is a very competitive sport. Everybody's working very hard. I'm sure you all know that, and you know, just the difference, I guess, between the top players and the rest is that ability to understand the pressure and accept the challenge and know what to play in the right moments. But other than that, there is not much difference. I mean, there are fantastic players nowadays on the tour who can play equally well as the top guys.
Do you think there's been some belief lacking in the rest of the ATP field before this?
Belief in what sense?
In that they could actually beat one of you four guys.
Well, I think there's many players that can make upsets, especially, you know, the ones who are top 20. I mean, but you had an example, and you just said about it. I mean, Russell beat Nadal. I mean, he was back in Wimbledon. It was maybe 90, 100, maybe over 100 in the world. So on the given day, you know, everything goes your way. Obviously, when you're playing best of 5 and you're playing on the Grand Slam, it's more difficult because, you know, you have to play consistently well throughout the whole match. But it can happen. I mean, anything is possible.
Novak, you have this aura of great energy around you, and the U.S. Open has this tremendous energy. And in a tournament like that, do you think it brings the best on you?
I think so. I feel this energy, and I love playing in this tournament. The last 5 years, I've had lots of success. Twice played finals, several semifinals, and won eventually the title in 2011, which was you know, the third major of the year. And yeah, it's incredible and very unique feeling to come back to New York as a defending champion, and it's one of the most exciting cities in the world. So you definitely feel that, you know, especially the night matches that you play as a player here in front of the packed stadium, and it's a lot of entertainment, a lot of fun, interactions with people, with fans. You know, they get into every point, they play with you, so it's quite different from all the other tournaments. I think every Grand Slam obviously has something unique to offer.
Novak, I believe it's your youth coach who was quoted as saying there are issues that you're dealing with that you're not speaking about. Can you give your reaction to what your coach said, former coach?
Well, look, you know, Yelena is my one of the first coaches. I mean, she taught me all the basic stuff about tennis, and she helped me a lot in my life, and she knows me well. We haven't seen each other so often in the last 5-6 years, but we are still in touch, and it was a great feeling to share our dream. I can say ours because it was her dream also to win a Wimbledon trophy and to be out there with her. And I mean, everybody has an opinion. I mean, I'm sure she didn't mean any harm, and you know, everybody can observe the situation around me or around you know, the regular person on different kind of ways. So I'm you know, I'm not going to say anything about that, you know, because everybody has problems. I'm sure that you all agree, and my problems are much smaller than an average person's problems, so I cannot complain about my life.
How would you describe your mindset right now and the level of your game? What do you feel that, because the season is already long, it has been emotionally draining. What do you feel?
It's been a long season, a long summer, but my year has been really good. It's hard to compare, obviously, with 2011, even though I've got that question asked many times this year, and what has changed from 2011. But I actually try to always look from a positive side. I actually do feel physically stronger and better prepared than I did last year. Mentally, I had some ups and downs throughout the season, but I think that was maybe expected in a way, and it's normal to have ups and downs. I mean, it's really hard to expect that I can go 5-6 months every year without losing a match. So I mean, on this level. But as I said, I feel good. I had an exhausting 4.5 weeks, and also successful. And I was very glad that I had a very successful Toronto and Cincinnati tournament. Coming into US Open was important for me to get into some hard court matches, and hard court is my most preferred surface. So I really look forward to the start of this major.
What appreciation do you have for the way Serena Williams has been dominating on the women's side? And in your estimation, what kind of statement is she making about her place in the history of the game?
No, it's incredible. I mean, and nobody knows where she's going to stop, and she keeps on going and being so dominant and winning most of her matches, winning the biggest events. I mean, that's what she aims for. I mean, right now, maybe she's going to answer better, but I guess probably physically at that stage of her, now at this stage of her career, she cannot maybe travel full time on the tour and play all the tournaments, but she is always performing her best at the majors, and she's winning. I mean, she won singles, doubles, Wimbledon, and also Olympic Games, and she's fantastic. I mean, a great role model for many kids who want to start playing tennis.
What goes through your mind when you watch her play?
I'm happy I'm in men's tennis, not needing to face her.
On the men's side, there has not been too much U.S. in the U.S. Open over the last decade. Is that a concern for the industry? I mean, obviously you're concerned about winning, but from a bigger picture, is that something that concerns players on the tour?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Sure. There has been too much of an American men's presence really the last 10 years here. I mean, Andy Roddick has probably been his prime the last favorite. But is it a concern of the industry? I know you just worried about winning this, but it just...
Well, USA is a huge country, one of the most influential countries in the world, and I'm sure that tennis tradition is something that is nurtured over the years. And I mean, Andy Roddick is the last Grand Slam winner and #1 of the world that comes from America. But I'm sure that the new wave of success in the tennis, in men's tennis for the United States is coming, because it's just impossible not to expect to not have any success from a system like this, and having obviously USTA, that is organization that invests a lot in the young talents, and I'm sure that they're coming up. I mean, and it's normal to have, as I said, ups and downs in the life.
Novak, what is Kim Clijsters?
Novak, when you think back about that forehand on match point return against Federer a year later, what do you think about?
Well, it brings me the nicest memories, that's for sure. I mean, that point, saved me from losing the semifinals and gave me the opportunity to win the title. And I've done it. I mean, this is another example that on this highest level in men's tennis, maybe 1 point, 1 shot can decide a winner. And it was a great shot, and it's something that I will remember forever.
Does it feel strange to be at a slam and not have Rafa around?
Well, it is strange, because he hasn't missed a slam for a long time, and I think neither of us top 4 have really missed a slam for a very long time, which can only work in favor of the sport. And I think that's why it's one of the reasons why we are experiencing a great era of men's tennis, because all the top players are really committed and they are performing all the top events and you know, reaching the final stages of those events. So Rafa is a great competitor and somebody I know really well on and off the court, and I'm sure that there is something serious going on, you know, because otherwise he would come here and play. So I know it's in a way loss for the tournament and, you know, for the tennis itself, because he's greatly appreciated, successful, and very popular athlete around the world. So, but you know, I wish him a speedy recovery, obviously.
Novak, what does Kim Clijsters mean to tennis, and what are your thoughts on her retiring after this major?
She's retiring after US Open. Okay, I mean, another great, I mean, another very successful player. I mean, and she won 3 times US Open, if I'm not mistaken. And she comes from a country that also has a long, successful tennis tradition. Her, Justine Henin, obviously, you know, driving Belgium into the top of the tennis world. So she's going to be missed. That's for sure. You know, she's very popular around here, especially in States where she had a lot of success, and hopefully she can make a great last US Open.
Novak, when you first emerged, you got to the top of the game, there were 2 Serbian women, Ana Ivanovic and Jelena Jankovic, along with you making that rise, and now Jankovic is out of the top 30, and Ivanovic hasn't made a Grand Slam quarterfinal, I think, since she won the French Open. What do you think each of them needs to do to get back to where they were?
Well, the bottom line is that this is a mental game in the end, you know. As I said before, everybody is practicing really hard, both men's and women's, and you know, the tennis world has changed so much. I mean, since I've started playing professionally, it's much more professional, much more challenging for all the players to be at the top and to win Grand Slams. And there's a lot of competition out there. So I think in the end, mentally, they need to overcome, you know, the pressure, the issues, and start believing on the court that they can actually do it, because Jankovic was #1 of the world, Ivanovic too, she won a Grand Slam, so that means they have the quality and ability to do so, and I sincerely hope they will, again.
Novak, sorry, I have to bring up the unfortunate subject due to ongoing stories of the last couple of days. I mean, not just only the Lance Armstrong story, but, for example, a well-known journalist accused Derek Jeter in a live TV show. So a lot of issue, lots of rumor in the last couple of weeks, months, you know, doping, drug. I think the shocking word is waiting for an answer. The sporting crisis. A lot of people, you know, the kids lost the heroes, the role models, probably. You are the excellent ambassador of the sport. What is your reaction of this, the sporting crisis, and what is your personal opinion about these things?
Well, obviously, when I heard that story and many others, I'm disappointed as an athlete, you know, because I know how much it takes to, you know, to get to where we are, you know, on the top of our own sport. How much sacrifice, commitment, dedication, hard work. So, you know, I'm not really trying to make a, you know, statement here of whose fault is it or not. You know, I leave that to authorities and obviously the authorized organizations to claim who is positive or not. But in the end, we are all seeking to have pure sport, you know, in every sense of that word. So I'm happy that in tennis we do not have that many cases, and we are trying to keep that going, you know, to keep the tradition and to protect the integrity of the sport. Obviously, that's something that sends a strong message about our sport also to young kids that you mentioned, you know, because they look up for heroes and they look for role models that are going to motivate them to become professionals.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can you do the audience outside? Sorry.